everyone. Thank you for watching. By law, I have to tell you that this is for entertainment purposes only. All videos are property of Psychic Liz Cross, LLC. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here with the amazing psychic Liz Cross. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this probe, Mr. Photon. What do you have for us today, please?
Well, it's been a while since we did a health probe. I'm just basically rounded up all the questions on the Discord from the my health whatever you want to call it channel on the Discord. So our members are asking questions on our Patreon and our Discord for probes. So if you want to be someone who is also requesting stuff, you need to become a member with us. It's a few dollars a month to support our channel. You go over to Patreon/remote viewing and beyond, and you can sign up there. You get access to all of the content you don't see on YouTube, so our private videos on YouTube. So there's a lot of content there for you. This will be a part one and part two. So if you're interested in seeing the second part, sign up with us. If you like the probes I do, you can support me directly through my tip jar in the bottom, ko-fi.com. It's listed there in the comments. And of course, I do consults for both health and crypto. If you want to get a hold of me, my email's down there. It's digitalfreedomtactics@protonmail.com. And let's get into some of these. So yeah, just out the gate, we're not endorsing anything here necessarily. I'm just kind of, going through everything that people have brought to the attention on the Discord, and we'll see if we can find out some interesting information about that. That's the goal today. So the first question up we have is about brain waves, and specifically, they were asking. I just have to bring up the question because they had like a specific question here. Could you so first of all, actually, before we get started, let's bring in May Wan Ho. We can't forget her. She's
Mm,
a
okay.
resident health expert, if you're new here, and she's in the spirit world.
Yep, I've got her. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're good. Okay, so the question about the brain and brain waves, they're asking why do trauma or brain-based techniques like EMDR or EFT, like tapping, why do they profoundly heal some people yet overwhelm or re-traumatize others?
So the brain waves in
Yeah.
particular?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's different methodologies or practices that basically act on the brain through brain waves, right? Like EMDR is something where uh, it's to do with the eyes, right? And like
Mhm.
the frequency that your eyes are seeing, and it's like rapid eye movement, right? There are things with directly stimulating the brain waves for sure. And then there's things like EFT, right, which is like you're tapping, right, and
Mhm.
different pressure points all over the body to help rewire the brain. So the question from them is, some people seem to do great, some people get overwhelmed and re-traumatize their trauma. So what's going on there? Why doesn't everybody um, react the same way to it, to those types of things?
Why isn't everyone reacting the same way to those types of things? It just depends how complex the brain wiring is.
Hmm.
Um, some brains adjust very easily, and the waves adjust easily, and some are chaotic. It really depends upon the individual. It
Hmm.
just means that you have more work to do.
Uh,
Is what she says, May Wen Ho. It doesn't mean that you stop doing the work. It means that you continue on and you persevere. But you're basically untangling some very complex wiring, and then you're having to rewire. And it's you've been programmed like this. This is your programming, this is your wiring. It takes a lot to rewire the brain.
right. Yeah, it makes sense. There's an old saying, if you're going through hell, don't stop. So,
Yeah.
right. So if you're experiencing some pushback from your, tapping or whatever you're doing, that's maybe a good sign is you're getting some resistance there and getting maybe to more of the root of the problem. It's not going to be, healing is not is pain and healing, right? So to
Mm.
some degree, right? Okay. So we got a lot of these to go through, so we're trying to hopefully get through all of them here. Let me just switch back over to my other, where are we here? Okay.
Yeah. So,
So,
I mean, what is interesting about that is the fact that some people do one round or two rounds of healing and they want instant results. Mei
mm,
Wen Ho is saying, no, you have to make it a lifetime of healing. You should never stop healing yourself. You should always try to heal. And even if you've healed whatever the problem is, then you need to work on maintenance of that healing.
mm. Yeah, that's a good point. I think the body is like a healing machine. That's all it wants to do. So it's never like a one pill fixes all or anything like that. It's always a process, right? I think it's always
Hmm.
a process. Okay, so we got another request here to look at this, which I'd never seen before. It's a company called Serin Biotechnology. So they're a big biotech company, and it looks like they have some sort of product that does gene therapy, immunogene therapy for cancer. So we're wondering if we can ask Mei Wen Ho, is this, the best thing since sliced bread for cancer treatment? Is this or is this this stuff is very expensive, by the way, for those of you that,
Mm.
but so it's like cutting edge stuff, right? It's like I don't think most people will be able to afford this or have it covered by their insurance, but it's definitely there. And they're putting a lot of money into stuff like this. So let's see if it's gonna be good for cancer. Um,
This is going to be good for eventually. So
mhm.
here's the thing. This is what she's saying. This is in its very early stages.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to evolve. There's a lot of research that needs to go into this. I feel whatever they do, they're taking the long-winded approach at the moment, and
Mm.
they will find an easier, cheaper, faster, better way. So what exactly do they do? Do you know what immunogene therapy is? Do we
I
know?
mean, that's a pretty broad term, I think.
Mm.
I know that the gene therapy stuff is like usually it can be different things, so I don't exactly know. Like some of them are like injectable things, right? That you're doing gene therapy with injectables, and some of them, immunotherapy could be different things. But I
Mm.
so it's AAV gene therapy and cytokine immunotherapy. So cytokines are, what you have when you have a fever. So it sounds like they're inducing maybe a cytokine storm to turn on the immune system somehow. I just don't know what
Mm.
methodology is of how they're doing that. But I mean,
Okay.
I kind of feel the same way. It's very new stuff, and it's
Hmm.
probably, I don't know if I would be rolling the dice on the brand new stuff. Let it kind of, let them figure it out first, right? Uh,
It
let,
is effective. It is. But it needs to be in combination with a lot of other things at the moment. She's saying, no, I have some questions. What about like if you did this in combination with water fasting? Yes. So she's saying it needs to be for permanent results. You need things like water fasting. What about, so everybody is jumping on this ivermectin, Fenben, whatever Fenben is. I'm sure you guys will tell me in the comments.
Mhm.
Protocol. Is the ivermectin Fenben protocol, is that effective? Now, Mei Wen Ho is saying very effective.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that. Yeah,
Really?
somebody else asked about it too in the Discord, so I was going to get to that.
Mm.
You just skipped
Oh,
ahead, so
okay.
there you go.
Oh, sorry.
There's been like celebrity wise, what's his name? Oh my God, Mel Gibson. He's been someone that's used it apparently, and he's been
Oh.
promoting it. And yeah, I think we briefly covered it already because we did a probe on Dr. Brzezinski like a
Hmm.
while back, and I'm pretty sure we also covered it in that probe as well, like briefly.
Oh,
But
okay. But the issue is that it causes liver damage. And she is saying, yes, it does cause liver damage. So then what do? She says you have to microdose, but frequently.
mhm. Yeah, I think the protocol is, I'd have to look at it again, but it might already have that in there that you're not taking massive doses of it. Um, a lot of this stuff is like not necessarily more is better, right? It's just, you just need to
Mm.
create the signal. So that's
What
true.
about Fenbin, ivermectin, Fenbin, microdosing, and water fasting? Yeah, that's good protocol. Water
Yeah.
fasting is very hard to do. What if you
Mhm.
did juice fasting, which is more effective for cancer treatment? Of course, this is not official advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But is water fasting more effective for cancer protocol, or is juice fasting more effective? It depends on the type of cancer, she says, and
Right.
what stage you're at. So, what if you're at like a stage 1 or 2? She's saying juice fasting, but if when you're at stage 3 and 4, now you got to start really taking very drastic measures. And these things are very hard on the body. So,
Yeah.
you have to make sure you're not throwing your body, into more danger, but she's adamant about the microdosing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree too. I mean, I've seen a lot of great things with it for sure.
How
Okay.
long,
Good to know.
how long would we have to water fast or juice fast? And with the Ivor and the Fenbin, about a month.
That's pretty good.
Hmm.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, we covered a bunch of things there. Let's move on to the next one so we can get through all of these. Another request. So this is like I don't know if it's like a clickbaity kind of video, but I think there could be some kind of truth to it actually. So it's saying that doing this hand exercise where you're moving your thumb and your fingers like into your palm for 5 minutes
Hmm.
more effective than doing 2 hours of running in the morning. So, you know, I don't know. Let's ask. I don't know.
That's no.
That's a no. Okay, but
Mhm.
I would say that I am a big fan of actually getting your hands strong. It's going to require more than you moving your fingers, but like strength, grip strength is one of the best things you can do for your heart, actually. It's one of the, it's actually been shown to lower all-cause mortality, I'm pretty sure, and specifically heart disease as well, like the death by heart disease, which is a huge killer of people in the modern world. And our hands are pretty weak, most of us. When we're born as
Mm.
babies, I think I've said this before, you have the innate ability without doing any training to hold on to something and hang like a monkey bar or whatever. If you put something in that a baby can grab, you know how they're always kind of grabbing and they have this grip,
Mm.
they can
Mm.
hold their own body weight super easily for a very long time as babies, like innately, intuitively. And we kind of lose this ability because we don't keep our hand strengthened just because of the modern world that we live in. We don't require grip strength anymore. Everything's done for us. If you want to squeeze a lemon, there's a kitchen utensil for that, right? So you don't lose it, you use sorry, you don't use it, you lose it. So I would say
Oh,
grip
wow.
is definitely very important for overall health of everybody, but maybe it requires a little bit more than moving your fingers. So, doing exercises like hanging from a bar, or if you can't hang from a bar, you start, assisted weight. Using little, the things that you can squeeze, right? Those little, squeezing machine things to increase your grip strength. Those are good too, right? So I wouldn't say there's nothing to it, but maybe this is a little bit more of the click on the clickbait side for this one. Um, all right, let's move on. Fascia. So there's a question from the audience. I believe it, sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but basically, more or less, they're asking if there's a spiritual connection to fascia. Now, I know that definitely trauma is definitely stored in your fascia, for sure. But they're asking, I guess, not only that, but I guess spiritually. I don't know what that means necessarily, but let's ask.
Okay, so is it important to keep your fascia energetically clean? Oh, yeah, very important.
Yeah. And
It's where
and
a lot of blockages take place.
Right. Yeah, a lot of trauma, obviously done somatic kind of exercises where you're doing the deep tissue massage and stuff like that. A lot of the trauma is definitely released when you do that stuff. It's very uncomfortable for sure. And then if you look at, Chinese medicine, right? They talk a lot about energy blockages and these specific points and the meridian points and all that stuff. And all the fascia, it connects to that. And if you look at what fascia actually is, it is a way to transmit actual energy, bioelectricity throughout the entire body. And we're disconnected from the Earth's energies. We wear rubber-soled shoes all the time, and we're never connected and getting those frequencies anymore. So our fascia is not really energized or getting the signals anymore unless we are going walking on the beach or you're taking your shoes off and walking in the grass. And this is, probably it's got to be connected to those Eastern traditions, the things they call chi, the subtle energy force, right? I think it's all kind of connected. So in the East, you could definitely argue that they have the spiritual connection to the fascia built into their philosophy already. But we don't really think of it that way in the West so much. It's just, the connective tissue that keeps everything together, your muscles and everything, right? Um, and if you look at it from an electrical perspective, it is a great conductor of electricity, the fascia. And it's
Hmm.
changed actually when you put that natural body current through it. Like you can see it change. So the question specifically is there some sort of spiritual connection with your fascia?
Is there a spiritual connection with the fascia? I mean, there is, but I wouldn't say what I'm getting is no more spiritual than anywhere else in the body.
Right. That's kind of like a little bit how I view it as well. It's like the whole body, you could say the whole body is spiritual. So, uh, you know, it's unless there's a more specific way to ask that question. I'm not sure exactly what they mean specifically, but yeah, I think you may be right. But it's definitely very, very fascinating, the fascia thing to study, and to keep healthy as well through movement, right? Natural movement connected to the earth is, I think, the best. Let's ask Mei Wen Ho, is that the best way to keep your fascia healthy? Is to move your body and be connected to the earth directly?
Is that the best way to help your fascia is to move your body? Yeah, to stay in motion, she says, and to connect directly to the earth. I mean, yes, that is very healing for, she says, every part of the body,
Sure.
but it really is about keeping the body in motion.
Hmm. Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's keep rolling on here. We'll do one more before we take it over to the other side for our part two. Someone asked about, I'd never heard this term before, PRT therapy. But then when I read it, I was like, oh, of course. It's just, they just kind of rebranded something else, which is mindfulness meditation. So this PRT, pain reprocessing therapy, what it is it's for people that are suffering from chronic pain, which there are many, and they can't seem to find the source of it for whatever reason. So they need a modality to, obviously not have to take pain medication or anything, that could have side effects. So they've come up with a system where you are tuning into your body and becoming mindful of your pain levels, your emotion, your movement, all that stuff. And you do like a body scan as you do in mindfulness meditation. And they find that once you tune in on the pain, it actually kind of dissolves a lot of the time, or it's just not as explicit as it was before. And so their theory behind this is that they're rewiring the brain through neuroplasticity to, I don't know how you would say, just to not feel the pain signal as much, or it's for whatever reason it just goes away in some cases. And it's fun.
Mhm.
It's funny to me because this has been done for 2 or 3 thousand years in like mindfulness meditation, and I think that's where they're getting this from. But and now it's like it's packaged in a nice way where you can put it in a hospital and there's no connection to any kind of traditions or anything like that. But basically, that's what it is. How is the brain able to do this, in terms of, we pay attention with our consciousness to the pain and it dissolves, or, it goes down in its intensity. What is going on there? And that with that.
Hmm. So the question would be, sorry,
So
what,
there,
what, mhm.
what is consciousness doing? Because I'm assuming that's what the mechanism is. We're taking our consciousness and we're going directly to the pain.
So are we
And,
taking our consciousness and going directly to the pain? More or less, she says, but it's about reading the pain signals.
mm,
So as the pain is being, the sensors, it's being sent across the neurons and things like that. It's about reading it and
mm.
understanding it,
Yep.
which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a practice for sure. I mean, you have to learn how to meditate and tune into your body. But I think that's the thing is that it's so hard because we're divorced from that in our modern world. There's so many things that distracting our attention away from our own body, our own consciousness, that it's so foreign to us to be able to tune in, to listen. And so the body's always giving us signals and telling us things, but we're living out 10 feet from our body most of the time, right? Do with something else. So it can be definitely a difficult thing for someone that has no experience in sitting or paying attention or doing a practice. Maybe they can't sit still. Maybe they need to do a moving practice to meditate. Whatever it is, right? It's still kind of alien to people in the modern world. So it's something you have to train. And so they have a technique to do that, which is basically mindfulness meditation for the most part that I'm reading here, where you sit still and you pay attention, and maybe you have a diary, maybe you have a journal to put this stuff down. But yeah, I mean. There is, I remember I read a book a long time ago on back pain, and it was by a physician named Dr. John Sarno. And he had in his practice, he figured out that he was doing all of these x-rays on people who had really like bad back injuries and slip discs and all that stuff. And sometimes people would come in with pain, right? And he would take the diagnostics, and there would actually be nothing physically wrong. And then he would get the opposite even too sometimes where people would have an obvious slipped disc, but they would have no pain. And then
Hmm.
and he could he couldn't figure it out until he figured out that something similar to this where it's like a lot of it's in the mind in a lot of ways. And if you can tune in to what's going on, um, the pain can sometimes go away like miraculously. Um, so what's going on there? Let's ask Mei Wen Ho. In those cases that John Sarno saw, where he had both ends of the spectrum there, he saw physical things that were wrong with no pain, and then he saw no physical things with a lot of pain. What's going on there? Is that like a way the body is malfunctioning, or is it what purpose does that serve?
Purpose does that serve? Well, what I'm getting is where you're feeling pain, what Mei Wen Ho is saying, but there's nothing actually there to cause the pain. It's a warning sign that you have too many stored emotions, negative emotions in that particular area of the body.
Interesting.
So energetically, it's sending you a warning.
Right. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean I don't believe the idea that the body does anything for no reason. It's very intelligent. So it's always sending you a signal. So the pain may be sending you a signal about a physical problem, or it may be sending you a signal about an emotional, spiritual issue as well. In this case, it sounds like.
Hmm.
So definitely all important if your body's sending you messages to not ignore it for sure. Okay. Very good. All right. Let's make a part two to this video. We're going to look into this device, the Brain Tap. We're also going to go over some EMF strategies, and also we're going to look into this supplement here. the
Okay.
Masterpiece supplement. So that's what we're going to get into on the second part of this video. Again, if you want to see all the content that's not public on YouTube, you need to become a member with us. Go over to remote viewing and beyond patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And we hope to see you on the second part of this video.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.